Fred, this guy turns around, the blood is dripping all over him, and he's got a pencil in his eye, and he holds this knife up to you and charges, I will offer you to the Great Devourer.
Fred pulls out his gun, points, devour this, and fires.
Oh, what a way to open. Everyone, thank you for joining us. Right, let's get straight into it. I need you to roll for that.
Yeah,
and
sure.
We're going to be doing combat. First combat of the show. This will be engage in combat, roll plus violence.
Yeah. 8 plus 4.
12.
Plus violence, you said? Where do I find that?
8 plus 4. Yeah. Violence will be on your sheet.
13.
Violence. 13. Yeah. Tell me how much damage that weapon does. And before we do that, what kind of how are you opening fire there? What's your move? Are you just doing a straight shoot, or are you doing overpower?
No, I'm combat shooting, -1 ammo, and it's combat shooting brackets 2 and the bracket.
Okay, so you do 2 points of damage. Let me just get on here.
And it's a KULT M1911. It's a heavy piece. Pistol. Yeah.
So you do that, and explain where you're shooting and where it hits.
Well, I mean, the body is the chest and the stomach is the largest target, so he basically just points and fires. Okay,
that's fine. So, as that was partial success, it doesn't go without hitch. So he launches at you. I will offer you to the Great Devourer, and comes at you. You fire 2 rounds into his stomach. And as you do that, he falls onto you, and the knife comes down. I need you to make a decision whether you're going to whether you're going to avoid harm or endure injury at this point.
I'm going to try to avoid harm.
Okay, so that's a roll plus reflexes.
Yeah. 9 plus 2 plus 1.
Okay, yeah. So basically, he falls towards you, still grinning, and this knife just slices down on your arm. So you're going to take 1 point of harm there.
All right.
Basically, as it cuts into you. You managed to get away from it, though, and you're very lucky that you did actually do that, because if that knife hadn't caught you, it probably would have landed on Liza.
Oh, Liza, all right.
For Fred, what are you doing? That's the guy we're meant to be finding for Pickett. If Mr. Pickett finds out we killed him, I'm going to try and dive on top of this character. He's covered in this blood.
Yeah, I mean he's fallen down. He's rolled a little bit, and he's dying. Basically, he puts his hands down to his stomach where you shot him, and he just suddenly he just drops. Lucy, what have I done? I didn't mean to. And you can see he's playing with his wedding ring. Lucy, looking over at the bathtub.
Can I try and calm him down? Grab him by the shoulder and says, "What's your name? Who's Lucy? It'll be okay."
Lucy's my wife. And with that, he falls limp in your hands.
Fred, damn it, Fred, you killed him.
As you look up, Fred, the first thing you see is the wedding ring on the sink.
Ouch.
And it looks like the matching wedding ring to the one that was on this gentleman's hand.
Liza, what the fuck? What are you talking about, woman? He was going for me. It was either him or me.
I know, but you're meant to be a big guy. You could have tackled him or something. You didn't have to shoot him.
I'm sorry, Liza. This is getting serious.
And how's your shoulder? Is it all right?
Yeah, it's really bad. And Fred paws at his shoulder. It's bleeding.
Yeah. Before you do anything, Fred, I need you to roll for your disadvantage of greedy. So you've seen this wedding ring. So that's a straight roll.
Yep.
How'd you do?
Fred, eyeing the ring greedily, looks at his ex-wife and then back.
You've been asked about your shoulder as well, don't forget.
Yeah. Holds his shoulder, looks at the ring, and then he simply pushes Liza to the side, walks up to the ring and picks it up and pockets it.
As you move closer into the bathroom, you see in front of you something that you wasn't prepared for, and you're going to have to, I think you're going to have to do a keep it together for this. In the bathtub is the body of a young woman.
So that's a 10 plus coolness, or?
Yep.
And since I'm also stressed, shaken, I'm 10.
It's plus willpower, sorry.
All right, willpower. Where is it? It's a 10 plus 1 minus 1, so it's a 10, right?
Okay. So you step into the bathroom. You pick up this ring. It's clean. And you see in the bathtub the body of a young woman. Just the body. The bathtub is filled with blood. The woman has no identifiable features, for she has been skinned with great expertise. Her face is frozen in a silent scream. Her eyes are gone, and her teeth are almost unnaturally white. They are ghost-like against the red flesh. Her skin is nowhere.
Fred.
And you look at this you look at this woman. You're intimating, must have been the wife of the person you've just taken out. He's not that old, younger than you. And this is with regards to your role you just did. You realized that you did not move to protect your wife so much as to cover your own interests. And you are guilt-ridden. That's a -1 on your stability for that, if you haven't already taken that.
No, I've already.
Over to you.
Yeah, so Fred, after he pockets the ring, he sees this scene, and then he goes all white in his face. He staggers backwards towards his ex-wife, turns around, looks at his feet, looks at the almost dead body. Don't go in there. That's nothing you want to see. I'm sorry, Liza. I really need to get out of this shit. I need to get away from Mr. Pickett. I'm trying to get away from Mr. Pickett. This is wrong. And then he staggers out into the room outside the toilet.
Yeah, back into the kind of the gallery, if you like. Yeah. I'll remind you that there is a spiral staircase going up, and you do notice that spiral staircase, although there is blood kind of up to sort of hip level, and there was a hand, if you recall, that you took the ring from, the gore does not ascend the staircase in any great way. George, you heard gunfire. Ray, you're in the park And it's been probably 15 minutes to half an hour. Where are you? What have you done for the last 25, 30 minutes? What can you see in the park?
Yeah, Ray started by looking for a good place to hide later on, and he found that. So the rest of the time, he is basically pretending to be a visitor in the park, looking out for other people pretending to visit the park.
I understand. Things so far are quiet. You can feel a change in the air temperature. It's getting a little bit later now, and it's the bright sunlight is definitely beginning to wane. As it is now more quiet, and you cannot see anything that is drawing your attention, I need you to roll your disadvantage of guilt.
Oh, this one went to the shitter. 7.
Okay. Whilst you're watching the cafe, which I believe is one of the areas you can see, someone comes out. You've seen them come out to like empty the trash and things. The trash is out the back. And they look at you again. They go back into the cafe. They come back out with a jacket on, and they begin to leave the park. They're just going the normal way. They don't look particularly hurried, but you notice the cafe is not yet closing. George, what do you do?
Okay, so George hears the gunshot, and he's heard gunshots before. It doesn't faze him. His first thing is to see what the reaction is of the gentleman in the car, in the Pontiac.
Yeah.
So what he's going to do is he's actually going to reach into his jacket, and he's just going to pop the holster on his gun.
Yeah.
And then, but he's going to be watching this person in the car, and seeing what their reaction is.
They take out a notebook and write something down.
Too far away to see what that is, probably.
But you are convinced. In fact, you know 100% that the firearm that you had discharged with your military background was the same firearm that Fred carries.
There don't happen to be, as luck would have it, any police officers making rounds or any official-looking people, even someone who's like checking parking meters, anything like that.
I would say that you could do a roll for observe a situation.
Okay. Just a very quick glance up and down. He's not going searching for any. Would have helped if I'd have got my dice ready, wouldn't it? There. A 12, 13.
Okay. So you get to ask one question with that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, is there anything in this scene that I could use as a distraction for the person in the car? Really, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Because if I just walk past the car and into the house, then he's gonna clock me straight away. And I'm just looking, even if it's just a truck going past, that I can time my walk so he doesn't see me.
So that will tie up best with what is my best way through this.
Yeah.
There is a gate in the property before the property that you want to get to. And looking to one side, you can actually see that the fence between this garden and the next is easily scalable. You wouldn't have to do a roll to get over that. So you might be able to just duck in behind and avoid them completely. You're also aware that they didn't seem that fazed that two strangers just walked into the property. So it's more like they are watching than anything else. Okay.
That's enough for me to make the decision to go then. If I think I can make it without being seen by this person in the car, then I'll do that.
Okay.
And when I'm out of sight, I'll pull my revolver out. And make my way towards the house.
Sure. And as you're outside, you can also begin to feel that, night is very, very slightly beginning to draw in. You can feel a change in the air. It's becoming a little bit damper. And you cross over the fence. Doesn't take you any effort. You manage to get round to the back. You see, for the first time, let me just grab that description again. So as you push through the porchway, you see that there's blood on the floor, and it's like some huge animal has been pulled through that door and out through the back of the yard. You open that door further as it has swayed to a little bit, and that smell of blood and sewage just fills your nostrils and your vision. You're going to need to roll to keep it together, I'm afraid.
Okay. Taking a minus. Oh no, I've not got a minus at the minute. So 11 plus 2, 13.
Okay. Just backtracking a little bit here. Okay, I think you'll probably just be haunted by this at a later time as you come in. And you start to, it's giving you flashbacks of being at war, but it's something that you saw a lot. So you are somewhat battle-hardened to it, but not in this context. And you come into the room and you see this now corpse on the floor with a pencil sticking out of its eye, and you can tell that the hole in their stomach is from a handgun, a firearm. Fred is in the bathroom. Liza is just probably still a little bit in shock. Ray, about 5 minutes have passed, and the last family has come from the boating lake and has the boat's now been taken up, and they've gone and they've just bought a couple of sodas or something, and they're beginning to leave the park. And one of them has a bar of candy, the young girl, and the mom just begins to walk over in your general direction to dispose of it in the trash can that's relatively near you. And there is a sudden sound of thunder over the other end of the lake. She jumps and she drops the candy wrapper on the floor. She spends 5-10 seconds just trying to chase it with her foot, and manages to grab it. And it's not too far from you, so she bends down to pick it up. And she looks up and her eyes meet yours. She whispers, no. You told me if I left town that I'd be okay and you wouldn't come after me.
No, I'm not here for you. I'm not here for you.
Bella, run. Go to the car. The girl runs and she picks up her other daughter and starts walking and looks up. And as she looks up and is running, and the girl is running towards the exit of the park, your eyes follow and track, and you see the woman who left the cafe at the entrance to the park is walking calmly as she can with 2 police officers.
Could you repeat that last one?
Yeah, the person you saw leave the cafe 5 minutes ago has entered the park again with 2 police officers.
Oh, I'm trying to disappear into some of the bushes.
Okay, that will be a act under pressure. Yeah, coolness.
17.
Tell me exactly what you do.
Since Ray is wearing mostly black, just backs into the bushes and shrubs where he was intending to hide later on.
Yeah.
And it just swallows him, and even though he's a big guy, he kind of disappears.
Okay. That's lucky. And you can feel that drop of sweat just coming down the side of your face. You, however, remember what happened. You remember what happened to Martyn. Martyn worked for Mr. Pickett. The husband worked for Mr. Pickett. And didn't follow orders. And basically what happened was of your doing. What you hadn't planned on was for the wife to be hiding under the bed at the time. You heard her breathing, and you gave her some leniency because you aren't just a man of violence. And the agreement was that she would leave town.
And she did.
She did. But what no one else knows, this is with one of the holds I have with you, is that the reason why he didn't follow orders was actually all your fault. And you should have protected him. And you are now thinking in this quiet place, within this hiding place, that you aren't protecting your allies now. George.
Okay. George can see Liza and Fred. Is this just after Fred has come out and spoken to Liza then? Kind of the back end of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see there's a spiral staircase in the room. It's a gallery full of not amazing paintings.
Okay, he looks at them both. And he looks at Fred in particular, who's always seemed pretty cool and pretty with it, and in this moment where he doesn't look like that,
yeah,
George kind of sees a position that needs to be stepped into. And he walks up to the both of them. Like, he's got his revolver drawn, he's kind of got it up, walks over to the body with the gut wound, and very kind of dispassionately turns it with his boot.
Yeah.
And says to Liza, is this Mr. Starker?
I have no idea. I mean, have you seen him before? I've never met him. I don't know what he looks like. It could be, as far as I know. Was he married?
We didn't have that information. Mr. Hayden,
Yeah. Ooh. He was going for me with a knife. I had to. And it's fucked up, man. It's totally fucked up.
He reaches out and puts his probably the first time he's ever done anything like this with Fred because he loathes him. He reaches out and puts his hand on his shoulder and looks right into his eyes and he says, "You did what you had to do in a moment where you feared for your life.
Damn straight.
Is there anybody else here?"
We haven't checked upstairs, but there's a dead woman in the tub, and she's been skinned. Don't go in there, man.
Well then, that's no concern of ours. She's dead. We're looking for a Mr. Starker, who, let's hope, is alive. There's a man sat in a car across the road. When the gunshot went off, he made a note in a notebook. We need to be quick. If I heard the gunshot across the street, somebody else could have.
Damn.
You need to pull yourself together now, Mr. Hayden.
Yeah.
I'm going to fall back on my military training here and try and pull these two together. We're going to search the rest of the building, and then we're going to get the hell out of here and get back to the park. Do you understand me, the both of you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, George, yeah.
Okay.
Liza, can you patch my shoulder up a bit? It's bleeding.
George, you got a handkerchief or something?
Yes.
Pass me your handkerchief.
Fishes out his bloody handkerchief and gives it to her.
Jesus,
So,
George, you
Fred,
okay?
Fred looks at that, and then he pulls out his own handkerchief. It's a lovely piece of silk.
That may be a better idea, Fred. Here, George, have that back.
Here you go, Liza.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna lift up his jacket, slide the handkerchief underneath, just try and apply some pressure for a moment.
Yeah, as we're not in combat, you don't have to do an act under pressure roll, and that will stabilize the wound. The dramatic hooks wise, sorry to break the story a little bit. George, you regain the stability for that, for letting your military background come in. Fred, were you intentionally using one of your dramatic hooks earlier on?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine.
Okay, so
you
I also get
regain
back.
some stability. Yeah.
I'm also going to take out my little tin with my drugs in and give one to Fred, and I just say for the pain.
Yeah.
And
okay.
and
I will make you roll an act under pressure for that. To make sure that you've made the right decision, because that will impact how those drugs influence Fred.
Okay. Oh, dearie me, Fred. Act under pressure. Okay. That's a 9.
Okay. So, Fred, you're still fine, but for the whilst we're in this building, I think you're kicking pretty quickly, but whilst we're in this building, you're going to keep going between flashbacks of seeing this girl in the bathtub and remembering when you last shared a bath with a woman, and the fact that they weren't your wife. And further details are on your character sheet.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys are all exploring the studio, I presume.
Yeah, I mean, when Liza has finished tightening that handkerchief up, I'm going to say, up we go. I'll lead the way. You cover me, Fred.
Yep, I got your back. holds up his pistol, ready.
Cool. So you ascend to the upstairs. It's a really spacious, airy room, and it's as you get to the top of the stairs, you're tracking or you're seeing some footsteps from the blood, and I would presume that Liza and Fred are both thinking that these footsteps are from George, because George has gone up first. But in fact, George, you saw them as well as you were ascending, and they track across the full length of the room. It's sparsely but darkly furnished, with a few stools here and there and some painting equipment. There's a couple of easels and brushes and palettes on the floor. The palette, as you look at it, has red paint on it, which I think, Fred, you recognise as being the same colour as on the letter that you all received that you read from Mr. Pickett. I'll just show that up on the screen now, on the bottom right-hand corner of that. There's a hookah in the corner of the room. There, let me have a look and see what else we have. There are some unfinished paintings on the walls of different people.
Anybody we recognise?
So some are grotesquely distorted. Others radiate kind of a real purity of essence. You don't really definitely recognise any of them. However, there is one which is quite clearly an unfinished masterpiece of an absolute beauty. And you almost can't take your eyes off her. I mean, she puts Liza to shame, and Liza is breathtaking. Do you want to...
George is going to examine these, but with an eye to the occult. This is possibly a phenomenon that he would be interested in. So he's going to fall back on his occult studies and try and see if he can see anything out of the ordinary with them.
Okay, so that will be probably an investigate roll.
Well, it's one of my advantages, occult studies.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah.
Roll with reason.
Yeah.
And then I get to choose some options if I get a good enough roll.
Yeah.
That's a 15.
Okay.
Which
Beautiful.
is...
So you get both options. Do you want to read those
both
out?
Options. So it is... I know something about this. Ask the GM what you know and take +1 ongoing while acting on the answers during this scene. And I know where I can find more information about this. Ask the GM where. So specifically what I'm kind of looking for here is what kind of effect, if there is a supernatural phenomenon here, what kind of effect it is having. That's what he's mainly interested in.
You've heard tales of this kind of artistic talent before, and thinking about what Mr. Pickett said about him having an unnatural ability, your suspicions are correct that he is capable of painting the true... what's the best phrase to use? The creature behind the visage would be a good way to put it. The soul of a person.
He's able to kind of see through the veil.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in terms of where you would go to find more information, collectors would know more.
And you said this one was... Did you say this one was unfinished? The one that had the
Unfinished.
kind of the masterpiece feel to it?
Unfinished.
Okay. Turn around to Liza and say, I know that you know there's something wrong with Mr. Pickett. I've seen it in the way that you look at him. I've seen that too. In the same way that there's something wrong with these pictures. I don't know if you've shared it with Mr. Hayden, but the reason Mr. Pickett is interested here is because of this talent. We need to find Starker. We need to find him soon.
And you don't think he's the man downstairs?
I don't think a man that can create things like this shoves a pencil in his eye.
That's very true. Then where are we going to find him?
Well, we already have a meeting where we're supposed to find him. I say we wrap up here, have a look around, see if we can find him. If not, we head back to the park. We're on the clock here. I'm sorry. I got a bit carried away looking at these pictures.
Should we
fascinating.
Should we take the unfinished one as a bargaining chip of some form if he tries to do something? Which one are you talking about? Is it
this one?
Can we carry it?
How big is this canvas?
It's large enough that you could put it on a wall, like centerpiece over a fireplace kind of thing.
Okay, but smaller than not life size.
Bigger than that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hence masterpiece. It's not like a it's larger than, say, the Mona Lisa, for example. It's the sort of thing I would say that
Mona Lisa's about that big for reference.
Exactly. So in case you know, so we're talking kind of probably in paper sizes between an A1 and an A0.
Okay. Spin it around. Turn to Liza and Fred and say, "Do either of you have a knife?" And let's cut the canvas off and roll it up. That's smaller.
Yeah, sure. Fred pulls
if we
out
want a bargaining chip, let's take it with us. He can attach it to a new frame.
Yeah,
it sounds bloody.
So you turn it around and you prise. It's kind of tacked on. So you prise rather than cutting the canvas. You prise the tacks out. It takes you a little while. Fred, what are you doing whilst George is doing that?
No, I thought it was me doing it, but I lended his knife.
I didn't have a knife. So I was...
Okay, sorry, Fred. Okay, George, what are you doing whilst Fred does that?
Are there any places off this room?
Yeah.
Or is it just like a big loft?
Have you finished looking around in this room?
Hang on, just a moment. Fred, while working, Fred mouths to George, "Hey, does the corpse downstairs have a ring? I mean, maybe you can see some initials. Maybe it's him. I don't know. Just check it." I thought he had a wedding ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did.
Wait here. I'll go and check.
Yeah, I'm busy.
Yeah,
okay.
Head downstairs.
So you head downstairs with the wedding ring, you take it off, it says JL.
Okay. Yep, head back up. JL. So
it's not him.
Fred, how greedy are you feeling?
Give me that, George, if you know what's good for you. And he stops fingering the canvas and pulls his gun. Give me that.
Fred, what are you doing? Put that
Give
gun
me
down.
that fucking ring.
It's just a ring, Fred.
I think the drugs were little bit too strong for your ex-husband.
Give me the fucking ring, or I'm gonna drill you as I drilled Shannon.
Oh, just give him the ring, George.
Yeah. What did you say, Mr. Hayden?
I drilled Shannon, and I'm gonna drill you with my bullet here if you don't give me that fucking ring. And he cocks his gun.
George, who is Shannon?
Yeah, George's wife.
Don't look so worried. I did it before you two married. But she was good. Now give me the ring.
I tell you what, Mr. Hayden, I'll go and put it back in that room that you were so afraid of. And if you've got the guts, you can go and get it yourself. And George turns his back and walks downstairs.
Fred ain't that cold, so he's gonna fire at someone's back. But he swears, looks at Liza. Fuck. Looks kind of worried, actually. Okay.
Fred, regain 1 stability.
Hear like hacking coughs as George heads down the stairs and glugging on something. Yeah, George just walks back downstairs, takes the ring and just throws it through the door into the bathtub.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then waits down. Starts to have a look downstairs by himself if there's any other rooms.
Downstairs is just a kitchen and the bathroom.
Okay.
Whereas upstairs, there was definitely one more room.
I was going to say, could Liza do the same upstairs now Fred's calmed down a bit?
Yeah, so Liza, you have a look around upstairs. Do you want to roll and investigate?
Sure. Why not?
That's plus reason.
It's a 0 for me, so that's 12 in total.
Cool. So you can ask one question. You're just investigating the room to see, if there's anything that super obvious that you've missed. We do actually have a map, which I very briefly showed earlier before we got distracted. So as you go into this next room, which I presume you do, it's a bedroom. And it's a bed. It's a messy room, but it doesn't look like it's been particularly perused. It's covered with paper, and there are some private letters there. There's also a stack of the cheap paper used for the letter that you received earlier, that you were reading, that has the paint on it. On the desk, there is a bottle of ink. A letterhead as well. And that letterhead does match the letter that you'd read earlier.
Okay.
You do see some letters there, as I said, and those letters, you're pretty sure, match the handwriting of the letter that you've seen previously. You'd need to have it in front of you to actually compare them. But there are a lot of letters here. There are quite a few that don't match Starker's handwriting. Orders for paintings, thanks for jobs well done, death threats, rejection letters from art galleries, private letters from old friends, saying they can't be seen with him anymore because he's a suspected communist, all these sorts of things. There's a notification that he's been sued and that he needs to appear at the court in February. Now, let me just see. I believe I have a couple of letters here that we probably do need to look at.
Yeah, I was going to say, do any of them particularly stand out? Just having a quick look.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a couple here. So the first one is quite clearly from a private investigator. And it reads, Mr. Starker, I have, as you requested, kept you under surveillance to see if your suspicions are right. I regret to inform you that you were correct. This is no lone stalker we're talking about. I have seen up to 3 different individuals following you on separate occasions. When you walk around downtown, they follow you by foot, but I've seen them also follow you by car. They know of your studio, but they also know the address of your downtown apartment where you are staying. I saw one of them waiting outside for you. I've yet to figure out who they are, and most importantly, who they're working for, but I am looking into that. I managed to snap some pictures of them, and will see if my contacts can dig up both their identities and their employer. You can call me tomorrow, I might know more then. Roger Martyn, P.I. P.S. I'll add $38, my normal rate for gas and film. And the second letter. Now, you may recall that Samuel Stone is an alias for Mr. Pickett. Mr. Stalker, I understand that you are hesitant to trust me. I understand that you don't have much trust left. After all, you don't know me. Let me just say that you are not alone in this. Others have your talents. Others see the world for what it is. You probably think that you're going insane. No one else seems to see the things you see. Sadly, you're not insane. You've just stumbled upon a truth that has been hidden from you all your life. Let me guess, you've noticed that not all people around you are what you think they are. Sometimes in glimpses or reflections, you may see what lies beneath. Something monstrous, something not of this world, and sometimes you see the soul spill out of a person with all its dark and distorted treacheries and foul desires. The ability you have to see this is both a gift and a curse. It allows you to paint the pieces that made you famous, but in doing so, you also revealed your abilities to them. So, you are not crazy and you are not paranoid. The reason why your life is falling apart is that they know that you know. They are influential. They control LA like puppet masters, pulling the strings. They have stopped your exhibitions. It is their threats that have made your friends turn their backs on you. It is their contacts that froze your bank accounts and put you under investigation for tax evasion. You are caught in a labyrinth, Mr. Stalker, and every path will lead to disgrace and ruin. That is why I'm reaching out to you. We are the same, you and I. We both see the truth, and I can offer you a way out. I hope you believe me, Mr. Stalker. Let us meet. You decide the time and the place. Your ally in a dark, dark world, Samuel Stone. P.S. Please burn this letter after you have read it.
I'll fold those 2 back up, slip them into my bag.
So some of those letters are addressed to a studio that you're in. Others have been sent to an address in downtown LA, 7th and Broadway. You find in this room a secret closet, and
well, I was going to ask, what is my gut feeling about what I'm investigating, which would be, I guess at this point, the closet.
Yeah. You can see that the closet is where those paintings were probably stored. Most of the time it's exactly the right size for the frames that are here, and even the frame that that big painting is on. You have a gut feeling this is his private collection that he's working on. And that usually they're not, they're usually hidden away.
Are there any in there at the moment?
There are a couple with name tags on. There's a politician and there's a movie star there, but nothing that really strikes the way that this beautiful picture does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walk back out to the main room, be like, hey Fred, I think we're in the wrong place. He has another apartment according to these letters.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I feel better now.
Yeah.
Hey, good work.
Sorry, Robby, go on.
No, good work there, dear. Thanks for patching me up.
It's okay, but you should probably go apologize to George. You shouldn't have said that.
Damn
So
it.
those, you found some name tags on the bottom in that closet as well. That are clearly kind of maybe fallen off from some of those pictures. One of them is Thomas Brayley. Another is Timothy Atkins. And another is Patricia Hart. You also found, whilst you're looking on the desk, actually, a couple of pencil sketches. Well, a few pencil sketches. They kind of also represent monsters. The couple that you can easily read, one says Roslin, Roslin. Another says Howart, Howart. And a couple of the sketches show that same woman that is the painting that you've taken off the frame. Looking just stunning, but they're quite clearly older works than the masterpiece that's been pictured. They have a label of Carita, Carita.
Looks like we have a name to put to that picture. Fred, do you want to pick up Carita and take her downstairs?
Sure. So I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
And go downstairs. Yeah. And,
George has been waiting at the back door the whole time. He's been like kind of keeping to the side, but so that he could see if someone came to it to look in.
Yeah.
With his revolver drawn.
Okay. And George, whilst you're doing that and you're looking around, you can quite clearly see the path that these drag marks have taken out of the back door. It looks like a I don't know, like a huge bull or a bison has basically been dragged out of the property.
I don't think he'd be able to stop himself having a look into, like, following that. He's curious about what's happened here, and while they're taking time doing things, he probably would follow those tracks.
Okay.
See if he couldn't make anything more of it.
Okay. So the first thing you notice is that they have quite a lot of what's the best way of putting it? Like dust, like black sand. And as you follow these out of the back door,
So, like, pick it up and smell it. What does it smell like? That black sand?
It just smells like blood and sewage, blood and shit, basically.
Okay.
But it feels like black sand, almost like kind of quite coarse. I mean, it has been raining off and on a little bit. At this point, it's starting to drizzle a little bit, which doesn't help. But as you follow this path of, that's been kind of pulled into the mud that's outside, you're finding pieces of human hair, and that earth is completely sopping wet. As you put your hand down to it, you realize it's not wet because of the rain. It is wet with blood. The drag marks lead through the bushes, and you kind of try and get through those without damaging your suit. It takes you a minute or two to do that. And they lead to the back street, the back alleyway, basically. And there's a sewer cover there, which is missing. So that you just basically, as you look down, you can kind of see the sewers below. But what you do find there are where what quite clearly was an object larger than the sewer covering there are remnants of human skin and hair and blood has all scraped and congealed around the entrance of the sewer.
So it's kind of pulled off as something large has been dragged through it. It's kind of possibly been dragged off onto the opening.
Exactly. It's like basically whatever was on the outside had been kind of pulled off as it went down, or was forced through into the sewers. And it's beginning to rain a little harder.
Okay.
You would get back to the building just as Fred and Liza make it down the stairs. And Fred and Liza, you both notice that the shoulders and then the top of George's hat are darker than the rest of the suit, and it's quite clear he's been outside.
The drag marks there, they lead to a sewage covering behind the in the back alley. Something was dragged through into there. There's like blood and flesh and hair. I think we need to get back to Ray in the park. I don't want to miss this meeting on a wild goose chase for Mr. Starker when he's supposed to be at the park to meet us. Did you find him in there?
No.
I take it no.
No.
He has a second address though. We can always try there if he doesn't turn up to the park.
Take out my pocket watch. What time are we now?
In the interest of expedience, let's say that it's coming up to say, well, you need to be there at what, 9 o'clock?
It closed at 8, but they said that they would I think it was arranged that they would open it up for us just before 9 so that we could be there for the meeting.
Okay. So I think all that looking around and just trying to be as hasty as you can, you've kind of lost a little bit track of time, and it is now after 8 o'clock. So it'll take about 20 minutes, half an hour to get back to the park. Okay. And I would say, given the rolls earlier, you'll think you can hear a police siren.
Okay, I think that's our sign to leave. Let's go out this way, otherwise the gentleman out the front will see us leave. Yeah, and I'll kind of show them the way that I came.
And you head back to the park. Probably about 20 to 9. By the time you get to the park, having reloaded your weapons, done a bit of patching up, maybe, gotten some gas, etc., all that sort of stuff that you need to do. And night has now fallen completely. That rain is definitely still falling, light rain. And you can see it's going to be very dark in the park there.
Okay. I think it was Liza that had kind of arranged with this person to open it up for us, so she'll probably be taking the lead with that. Is that right?
Sure.
Okay, so she's probably kind of making her way over to that a bit ahead of us. As she's doing that, George will lean into Fred, and he'll say, "If I hear my wife's name in your mouth again, I'll put a bullet in the back of your head. I'm not a coward like you."
Fred laughs. Yeah, well, I'll be watching you. But okay, I hear you.
Liza, you get to the front gate of the park, and there's a security guard you can see there. You're muted. First one of the session.
We almost
they go, huh?
Yeah, she'll kind of like wave her arm through the gate. I presume the gate's closed.
Gate's
Just
closed.
try and get his attention.
Can I get you to roll for your disadvantage, please?
Yeah, sure. It's 11. Is it plus anything? Hold on. 0. See 11.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So guy comes over and says, "Hey, hi. How are you?"
I'm fine, thank you. I believe you're probably enjoying our bourbon over in the cabin over there. I believe you're meant to be opening up this little gate for us.
Oh, I see you've been warming me up, huh?
Well, you could say that.
Sugar. Well, Sugar, I understand you're here to see some friends, but you make sure that you come and see me before you leave, all right?
Well, Mr. What's your name?
Well, you can call me Jay.
Well, Jay, I'll be sure to pop on by on my way back out. Don't you worry.
You do that. And he opens the door at the gate. And he goes to close the gate behind you as you walk through it.
Don't forget about my two friends over there, though, Jay.
Hey, I didn't say nothing about no friends.
Well, I ain't having a picnic on my own in here.
You can see he's kind of thinking about it, and he really doesn't want to share you.
Do you think I'm going to stay in here with you all night, Jay?
Well, that was our agreement.
Well, there's two of you in here. I can't. There's not enough of me to go around just the two of you. You gonna bring my friends in here or not? Are we gonna have a problem?
I don't want a problem. I was hoping more for a solution.
At this point,
and he's looking you up and down.
I'm gonna lean into
this creep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean
into it.
I'm gonna lean into his ears.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of slowly, both of them, and then slowly push him to against the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna grab as hard as I can with my other hand and squeeze his balls. So,
okay.
you better let my friends in over there.
Okay, that's fine. Do an influence other.
Okay.
Are we at this stage allowed to help out?
You're kind of still he's gone to close that
right.
gate, and there is someone else watching the gate.
Yeah, all right.
That's 9 plus 3, so 12.
Okay, yeah, he buckles and drops to his knees. And says, okay. So with that, Fred and George, you can walk through. You get the impression, though, that he's going to be keeping an eye on you and not in the way that he was originally intending.
Don't you forget about me, Jay. I don't want to be locked in here all night.
Don't you worry, bitch. I ain't gonna forget. You walk down towards the... I'll get the image of the park up on the screen. Walk down towards the pier. It takes a couple of minutes. And as you get kind of closer to where the cafe was, for example, I would presume that Ray kind of whistles and makes himself known.
Yeah. Did I see any of the altercation at the gate? Or
depends on whether you were looking at the gate.
I was, since I'm looking out for people entering the park.
Okay, yes.
Anyway.
Yes, you did. However, behind you is beginning to fog up with the rain, but up towards where the gate is, you saw that whole thing. You wouldn't have been able to make out a lot of detail. It looked to you like Liza was again trying to seduce someone, was grabbing a guy by his genitals, not for the first time, and just making herself look attractive to him. And then when you saw him fall to the floor, you realized that no, she was doing her other thing. Yeah. And you guys kind of walk down towards the pier. That boathouse is kind of shrouded by the fog now. But as you get closer, you can see it, and you see Ray. And it looks like Ray standing, or kneeling or whatever in the fog. And Ray, as you stand up, and everyone kind of meets up, and you turn round to kind of survey everything there. You realize how foggy it's become. You hear a scraping sound through the fog. It sounds like metal against metal and the rattling of chains.
And I handle one thing before we hear that noise. I reach my hand out to Fred and says, "Car keys."
Yeah. So Fred pulls them out and tosses them over.
I grab him and go something like, "Hope you treated my car better than you treat other things," looking at Lisa.
Awesome.
And then Fred looks at Lisa and, "Yeah, I see you still got it, babe."
I've still got my ways.
You hear a scraping of metal on metal, the rattling of chains, and over the lake, the sound of lightning striking. As you turn to look, you see the silhouette against the lightning of a man standing in a long coat and a hat at the far end of the pier. And it's kind of hard to figure out, especially in this fog. But it looks like he is staring out at the fog, like maybe he's lost in his own thoughts. And that's where we'll end the session.
Mr. Stark, I presume.
So I hope you all have enjoyed it. Please come back for the next episode. We'll hang on for a minute or two just to discuss what's happened. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you for episode 4 of KULT Gallery of Souls very soon. Take care. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Intense.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I am loving Fred and George at the minute. I mean, I don't know about whatever's going to happen in this, but one of these two is going to end the other one.
Relationships are all over the place.
Yes.
Apologies to everyone for my audio being a little bit hooky at the beginning of that. I'm not quite sure what was going on, but we fixed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't for very long.
No.
Cool.
No, it was just when you were talking to me.
Yeah, you weren't talking to anyone important, so.
Well, hopefully those of you who have watched this, as this is pre-recorded, Robby has abandoned the show. Hopefully for everyone who's watched this, we'll clean that up. And I think Robby running off is a good reason for us to say thank you and goodbye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Phil, and I just wanted to thank you for joining us for our actual play of Gallery of Souls in KULT Divinity Lost. Our channel is a labour of love, and your feedback helps us to tailor the channel to you, our viewers. So if you have enjoyed the show, please help us to gain XP by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and that sort of stuff. I also want to take some time out to thank Plate Mail Games for our amazing background audio, and also to thank Seth Skorkowsky for his additional player handouts, his general advice around this scenario, around running KULT Divinity Lost, horror games, Call of Cthulhu, and just being generally great for the hobby. Links to both of those resources, as well as to the Dark Orb Discord server and our Patreon, of course, are below, and I'd consider it a great honor if you take the time to just check those out. So once again, thanks very much for joining us. I hope we'll see you again soon. And until then, well, I hope your dice rolls are way better than mine. Thanks.